Hello and welcome to Doherty Library Tutorials. In this tutorial, we will learn about different search strategies to help you find resources that will maximize your research. Let's get started by creating a research plan. So whenever you're doing a research project, it's always good to number one, start with your research question. 2, identify the keywords and concepts in your question. And 3, identify synonyms and related terms that you could also use to search. So step 1 is start with your research question. Our research question today is how can therapy dogs impact the mental health of college students? When searching, you don't want to type the whole sentence in the search box. Instead, we will pull out the most important words or keywords for our search. For example, we would use the word therapy dogs in our search, since that is a crucial part of our research question. Impact would not be a keyword because our results would be way too broad to sort through in a reasonable amount of time. For this example, my keywords would be therapy dogs, mental health, and college students. So now that we have our keywords and concepts identified, we are moving on to step 3, which is identify synonyms and related terms that you could also use to search. So for what I like to do is write out my question and either highlight or underline or write them in a different color, my keywords. You can do that any way you like, but then once I pull out my keywords, I write down alternate search terms that I can use as well. So for therapy dogs, we have service dogs, therapy pets, or animal assisted therapy. For mental health, we have mental wellness. And then for college students, we have undergraduate students or university students. This will open up additional terms to give us more results in our search. So now that we have a plan, we are ready to search. So to get started, we are going to visit the library's website. You can either get there from the UST homepage, it's that big red bar at the top, and click library, or you can go to library.sttom.edu like you see on my screen, or you can visit us from the Assist tab in Blackboard. So let's start searching. So from the library's webpage, we're going to scroll to the middle of the page and find articles, books, and more. From there, we can either type our search in the UST1 search bar, or we can use the Browse A to Z database list for scholarly articles. For this example, I'm going to use a database called Academic Search Complete, but for more information on how to use the UST1 search or how to browse the A to Z database list, please see our 2 tutorials on those subjects linked below in the comments. So let's get started with our search. So I'm going to find Academic Search Complete. And once the database loads, you'll see I have a couple of different search boxes. So I'm going to type in my first keyword, which was therapy dogs. And I'm going to actually put quotation marks around my phrase, so that way the database knows to include that as a phrase rather just than 2 words, therapy and dogs. And then in our second search box, we're going to put in the same thing, mental health. One thing to keep in mind is you'll notice this and here, that's called a Boolean operator. It's basically a connector telling the database how to search. So when I search for therapy dogs and mental health, that means I want the database to give me results with both those search phrases in them. I don't want to get just therapy and health. I don't want to get just dogs and mental. So that's why it's important to have that operator there as well. Our next keyword is college students. So we're going to put in college students. And for this example, you'll see the database gives me an option of doing college students or university students or undergraduates. So while the and narrows our search because it wants to include both those search terms, the or expands our search. So the reason you might want to consider using or in adding synonyms is that there are articles that you may find useful, but they may use other words. So for example, if we were to just put college students, we would only get results with college students in it. But if we were to do college students or university students, we may get more articles that are relevant to our topic, but that we might have missed out on if we had just used college students. So we are going to use the or to expand our search with college students or university students or undergraduate students. So using the words and or in a database is called a Boolean operator, like I said before. This allows you to make each search more precise and save you time. I do want to point out you can also use not. Not is if you want to eliminate certain words from your search. So let's go ahead and hit search. And you'll notice we have 138 articles and they all contain our search terms. So that is a good way to narrow down your search and maximize your time. One other thing I do want to point out is you don't want to use prepositions such as a, and, the, etc. in your search. Like I said before, we use quotation marks to denote a phrase. It would be the same thing with if we wanted to use Gone with the Wind for the film, right? That way the database knows to search for that whole phrase and not take out the words with and up. If we were to just put in Gone with the Wind, we may get results about items on research on wind speed done in the city of Gone, Pennsylvania. So always use quotation marks for phrases. Last but not least, you can also maximize your search using truncation. So we could use, if we put bank and then we put an asterisk there, it will search the root form of a word with all its different endings. For example, if we do bank with an asterisk, we will get results with these words: bank, banks, banking, bankers, bankruptcy, etc. So if I hit search, you'll see there's all these different results with the word bank in it. That's different if we just put bank. Now all of a sudden our results are just with the word bank. So another thing to keep in mind is that you don't have to read every article or book that you find. There's an abstract here that'll give you a summary of the article and the study. Read that first to determine if that's something that's relevant to your research. If not, move on. If it is, keep reading. Same thing with books. When you're reading a book, start with the contents and the preface. Use the index, read the list of references and the chapters, etc. You can also look at an article's bibliography page for more sources and articles. So in this case, say we like this article, we can scroll to the end here to their references and see if there are any other sources that would be a great fit for our research project. Also notice if you see an article or book cited over and over again, that is often a key resource and worth looking into for your research. So this concludes help tips on search strategies. If you have any questions, you can stop by the reference desk, email, or chat with your librarian at askus.sttom.edu. Thank you and happy researching.